Let's get some analysis here from Andreas Krieg, a Middle East risk analyst and associate professor at King's College London. Welcome. Could you tell us a little bit about al-Arouri as a figure? What was his role within Hamas, and how big of a blow will his death be?
Hi, good afternoon. I think we should be very careful in terms of accrediting one single individual with a hub sort of position where they play an outsized role in a wider networked organization. He was certainly important symbolically because he obviously created the fighting wing of Hamas. He certainly must have been one way or the other involved and knowledgeable of what happened on the 7th of October, what was going to happen on the 7th of October. He was a liaison between Hamas and Hezbollah, and thereby also liaison between Hamas and Iran, which is an important link for the Israelis that they're trying to sever. Problem, though, is it's never just one individual. So if you take the individual out, he will be most likely replaced by another individual, and it would never had actually this sort of impact. I mean, none of the assassination campaigns that Israel has conducted across the region ever had a massive impact on the organizations that they were trying to weaken.
Well, let's take a quick look at the consequences of his death. You mentioned Hezbollah, and it's, of course, not just Hamas's reaction to this killing here. The strike killed al-Arouri in a Hezbollah stronghold in southern Beirut. Do you expect that we would see retaliation from Hezbollah to his death?
Yes, there will certainly have to be a response because Hezbollah is under pressure. They have to show that their deterrence regime is still upheld. They need to show that they mean business. At the same time, Hezbollah has been very cautious in terms of how they respond to Israeli aggression, and have also been very careful not to get sucked into that war directly in Gaza. So, so far, this war has been below the threshold of war. So basically, you know, there have been we've seen these tit-for-tat responses. Every response that Hezbollah has made has been very measured. And Israel has been fairly measured as well in terms of responding to Hezbollah attacks as well. So this one is an escalation. It's an escalation because it's not a Hezbollah figure that was killed, but it's someone who was under the protection of Hezbollah, who enjoyed the hospitality of Hezbollah, who was killed deep inside their territory. It's a grave violation also of Lebanese sovereignty, which the Hezbollah will have to respond to. The question is just how will Hezbollah respond? Because Hezbollah for many years has kind of, and Iran as well, have kind of delayed their responses to these sort of attacks, which means they do respond. That doesn't necessarily mean they respond immediately. The question is how do they respond? Because I don't think Hezbollah still, you know, has the appetite for a major escalation. It's the Israelis who are playing with fire. It seems that some in Israel might have an appetite to bring the war to Hezbollah. Hezbollah now will have to find a measured approach to this, but I think the response will be one that could come with delay, but will be one that will be far worse than what we've seen so far coming from Lebanon, as in a strike that will be much deeper inside of Israeli territory. It will be one that potentially could be a major terrorist attack within Israel or against Israeli soft targets also outside of Israel. But there will have to be a response if Hezbollah wants to maintain its credibility.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on DW News with your expertise. That is Andreas Krieg at King's College London. Many thanks. We're turning to some break.